But not everyone is on board with working with China on AI after Bernie Sanders' Capitol Hill event with Chinese scientists slamming the existential threat of AI.
Our next guest penned an article in the Wall Street Journal saying, quote, there may be some legitimate concerns about the technology, but collaborating with China is not the answer. Wall Street Journal Free Expression Deputy Editor Jack Butler joins us now. Jack, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So let's start with, we got the president going to China, but kind of before that you had the Bernie meeting, okay? He was going to meet with the AI experts to kind of figure out this existential threat. My read on that is if Chinese experts are meeting with you, you're the target. You're the guy they're trying to read. What do you think about it?
I think you're exactly right. I think that when someone like Senator Bernie Sanders, who doesn't have a great record of understanding societies that are totalitarian, sometimes he's more fond of them than he ought to be, when someone like that says that we need to have dialogue and cooperation with the Chinese government, essentially, there is no distinction there. The civil-military fusion means that there's no distinction between supposedly private actors and public ones. He's a dupe. They're trying to get something out of him. They're trying to convince him to work with them, and that is a dangerous prospect in my view.
Yeah, China's our enemy. Why would you even consider something like that? Jack, let me ask you about this new news that Brian just mentioned, this idea that as President Trump is going to this summit with Xi, he'll take some of these big CEOs with him. NVIDIA and Apple, I noticed, were on that list. If that is true, bringing sort of the brass with you behind it, what do you think he's trying to do there?
Well, he's certainly showing off. President Trump is right. We are leading China. But I think the gap between us and China is not quite as large as I'm comfortable with. And I know, based on past experience, China would love some of our technology, would love some of our secrets. So if they're there as a show of force, as a sort of braggadocious display of look how great we are, great. If they're there as potential targets for Chinese corporate espionage or something of that nature, that would be concerning.
Well, if I can just follow on this one. You know, we talk about the NVIDIA chips. We don't want to send them the really fancy good chips, but we can send them those lower grade chips because even if they copy them, what's the big deal? Still, many say that they'll tear those apart and be able to see what the company's doing, and that you don't even want to make it an ounce easier for them to be able to compete with us in this sort of war of technology, really. Your thoughts on that aspect of it, if these CEOs are going there thinking maybe they'll cut some deals on the lower end stuff?
Yeah, that's still not a great idea in my view. Again, if you look at the record of history, China pretends to be a free market standout. It lures companies into its market, and then it studies them. Once it's gotten everything out of them that it thinks, once it thinks it can copy their technology, kicks them out, sometimes seizes their property. This is not a great model for when it comes to AI, when it comes to chips.
Well, the idea here, okay, is that we're going to try to pursue some guardrails with China, okay? We'll compete, but let's not anybody get off the rails here and do something stupid. So maybe you think, well, that'd be nice if we could agree to some rules, but it strikes me that China's not the rule-keeping type. So I wonder if it's smart to agree to anything with them.
That's an open question to me at best. I mean, both Senator Sanders and some of the people talking about the Trump administration efforts here are citing the Cold War example. And it's true, if you make the analogy between AI and nuclear weapons, the US and the Soviet Union did talk about these things, but the Soviets constantly reneged on the agreements we made. And those agreements only stood with the credible threat of US force from presidents like Reagan. So this is why when Senator Sanders was talking about this, I just had no faith in any of it. Maybe Trump can pull something off, but still, I'm skeptical here of China being a good faith actor on anything after COVID, after what it does to its population, to its subjugated minorities. Count me skeptical.
Yeah. I've got to believe, even with the laughing and the joking that the president does, saying, "Oh, I'm going to tell him that we're winning or whatever," that he understands what you're saying. He understands that China's our adversary in this. But when you look at what's happening and what we've done here in this country with AI, it's driving this rally right now like gangbusters, new records pretty much every single day. So you can see how important it is to stay ahead. Sometimes, what do they say? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Yes, Godfather. That's what it's from. Yes, so it's very important. This is, again, something that Senator Sanders, I don't think, fully understood, because this is a guy who wants to limit the number of deodorants you can use or buy from the store, that AI is driving the economy. Now, the thing that I will grant is that there are some non-economic elements of the AI transformation that are at least worth discussing. All the slop out there, all the uses that it's being put to that can sort of change the way humans relate to each other. We should think about that. But in the economic realm, it's clear that right now this stuff is a boon, and China would love to have it.
Yeah.
Jack Butler, don't make your deodorant czar your AI czar. I think that's what I took from that one. Great
Good
stuff.
one.
Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.